And hey, folks, here we are. Here's your guy, Adolphus AD Moore, in La La Land, the city of the angels. Yep, that's right. I'm out here. We're getting ready for Super Bowl 56. And without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and start bringing the guys in. My man Elwyn Henderson. Elwyn, let's see, well, damn, man. Let's see. There's
There I
Elwyn.
am.
There he is. And I got the Rad Man coming up.
Hey,
Rad
hey,
Man.
all
Hey,
right.
what's up, guys? Elwyn, I don't know if you had a chance to meet George. George is out of Western New York. He writes for the Challenger News. Like had started like that same editor position. Except he's the copy. He does a little bit of everything. Something like what Mike's done with the Defender there. So he's
Mhm.
on here. So and before I get started, I will be remiss. This was Max time of the year, and
Yes,
I think the common thread that runs between all of us is Max Edison. You know,
Absolutely.
George,
yes.
Elwyn, and all of us. So, for a few, just got to sort of think about because right now he would be in hog. This is his hog heaven, and so
Amen.
so really, and there's the mighty Oba bringing him up. There you go,
Mhm.
mighty Oba. He's there. He's.
You mean
I mean, you drinking tea for your voice done left you, man. You had to.
No,
You had,
every morning.
oh, okay. That's
I
the way you
drink
protect your pipe.
herbal tea every morning.
Okay.
And nothing.
All right. Okay. Hey, as I was stating, guys, this would be Max. This is Max's one of his deals.
Are we
I
stuck
mean, nothing
here?
beat the Super Bowl, man, and
Am
that
I
was the
stuck or
stream,
y'all stuck?
huh?
Yeah.
But so without further ado, we just gonna keep going. Let me see. I think everybody's moving here. Everybody got good signals, man. So
Yep.
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
hey
Yeah.
guys, look here. Let's go ahead and let's do a quick highlight. I know Elwyn, you've been here. Well, you got here. You've been out here for 2 weeks between Vegas and here. So I'm gonna
Yep.
start it with you, and then I'm gonna go to the Rad Man and the Mighty O because they've been on Radio Row all week. And in fact, they allowed this little old me to sit in there with them, and I'm sitting there going like,
I
man,
think AD is sticking, isn't he?
hey,
We're live. Hey,
huh?
AD. AD, you know you the man. You know your football. You know you're a student of the game. So you playing possum with us right now. Now, hold on.
No, no, I'm just a little old. But Elvin, kick it off, man. What with your quick highlights? You hitting, starting with the East West game and the Pro Bowl, and coming on into to La La Land.
All right. Yeah, I flew into Vegas a week ago Tuesday. And then, of course, the East-West Shrine game was at Allegiant Stadium where the Las Vegas Raiders play their home games on Thursday night of that week. That was a fantastic game, featured a lot of really good college players, a lot of whom are hoping to be drafted. Of course, as we know, very few of which probably will be. Turned into a really good game. It was a little bit one-sided in favor of the East early on, but the West came back and closed the gap, and it ended up 25-24. Really, really, really fantastic game. And I'll tell everybody that hadn't had a chance to see that Allegiant Stadium yet, it's one of the smaller stadiums in the NFL. I believe about 68,000 is all it holds. But, man, they did it right. That place is a show place. And in fact, where I would rate the stadiums, SoFi has to be the number one stadium in the NFL, without a doubt right now. I would put Jerry World, AT&T Stadium in Arlington is number two. And without a doubt, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas is number three as far as the three classiest stadiums out there. As far as the Pro Bowl, I think everybody, I know all three of you watched it. I know a lot of other people watched it.
No,
But
I watched the score. Let me interject. I watched
yeah,
the score.
I
I,
think so.
I saw
Honest
I saw
goodness.
a couple of them plays, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to insult my intelligence, so I didn't do it.
I was fixing to say, the scenery, the venue was beautiful, but that was the most ridiculous excuse for a football game I've ever seen in my life. They do a little bit less every year. And don't get me wrong, I understand the players don't want to get hurt. I understand that. But if you're going to do that, put flags on them and play flag football. I mean, as soon as a guy was touched, the whistle was blowing. there was only one flag thrown the entire game. And I think the official threw that by accident. He called a false start. And I think he just forgot it was a play game instead of a real football game. But anyway, that was a little disappointing as far as the game itself, but at least the venue was nice. Then I came out, rode with my buddy Mike Malarkey, who has been a team photographer for the New York Giants for, I believe, about 40, 41 seasons now. Rode with him and his wife, Donna, 4.5 hours from Vegas over to L.A. on Monday. Really enjoyed getting to catch up with them since, of course, as we all know, none of us were allowed to be in Tampa last year because there was not an auxiliary press. And enjoyed everything once I got here. The video, the tour they gave us of the stadium and the food preparation on Tuesday was awesome. They gave us samples of the food, and they have come up with some really cool stuff that the regular people get in the concession stands. And probably the thing I enjoyed the most was called Tsunami Tater Tots. And those things were spicy as all get out, had some habanero on them, but man, were they good. So the fans are going to be in for a great treat food-wise tomorrow. And then, of course, I'd be remiss, guys, if I didn't mention how awesome Universal Studios was last night. It's been an awesome week, and that just really topped it off last night.
Oh, Mighty Over, you sat there on Radio Row. I mean, you were like the trooper, man. You know, you were the man from sun up to sundown there, man. So what's your takes on the week's events?
Well, it's not as close as to what we're used to. I would say you had less than 100 outlets on Radio Row. It was bigger. Tampa was a ghost town. Everything compared to Tampa was, it just was not what we're used to. And I understand with the pandemic, but there were some good things that happened on Radio Row as far as interviews. The predominant conversation is the Brian Flores lawsuit. And the ramifications connected to it that go beyond what we've already known, the hiring practices of owners. I think that this issue kept coming up about Stephen Ross trying to tank games and the NFL's recent relationship with these gambling sites is going to be the ultimate stinker with this thing. And almost everybody we interviewed this week, am I right, Radman, kept bringing up that issue. It always ended with that.
Oh, definitely. In some cases, it was strong words, like Rob Parker from the radio station Fox Sports. A lot of people had some very strong words to say about it. And definitely, that was the talk of the week. A lot of people came through as we gradually, from Tuesday into Wednesday, it kind of picked up, the pace picked up. Not like normal, but it was okay. It was decent. But yes, that was the talk of the town. Brian Flores, diversity.
Yeah, you know what? And like I said, I got in Wednesday night. You know, I hit the ground running Thursday morning, and getting credentials and everything, and hung with you guys there for a while. And then the Thursday, I guess my highlight would have been the FPA, the Fritz Pollard Alliance, and their Johnny Cochran Salute the Excellence Award. As usual, a first-class event. George was there. George got a chance to go there. But the unique thing, and again, going back to the issue about Max Edison, Max was for a long time MC of the events. I mean, wherever, for the last several years, he had been the MC. But the one thing I got that was able, his son, Jason Edison, got a chance to be there. And finally, folks that have seen Max and dealt with him, he got a chance to interface with those folks and find out, that, a lot of things what his dad did, with Jason, moving in, he's still in school and everything. He got a chance to interface and really understand the platform and the audience that his dad actually participated on. So to me, that's my highlight. The game, we want to see a good game. The Brian Flores thing, you're absolutely correct. I'm gonna tell you something, guys. That gambling, and I'm gonna just put this. I don't like to go to hyperbole, but that was a scene in The Godfather when somebody didn't get a position, and a stud racehorse head was in the bed with somebody?
Yeah, I remember that.
Y'all remember that?
I
Okay.
remember that. Yeah, I remember it.
We keep if this thing proves out and they done got in the bed with these gamblers and so with and all that. Hey man, let me tell you something. They still haven't found Jimmy Hoffa.
No.
Okay?
No.
So somebody's gonna have to. I mean, this thing, the NFL has got to be very, very careful with that allegation. And I say that I'm underlining allegation. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
None of us was there. But what's in that 60-page document suit that Brian Flores has put on the NFL? And the thing their initial statement, the NFL's initial statement, without merit, to me that was an insult. And any of us that have been around, and you three guys have covered this league. I mean, if you add up all of your time that y'all have covered this league, I mean, I guarantee you we'll get in excess of 75 years of time, and that when you add it all up, and for us and for the league to come up with that statement, and then they had to turn around and backtrack. I don't know who was calling the shots up there, but you know what? They first initial statement, and here's the thing about it. When you have to start backtracking, then you have to come back and say that there folks quit listening. They stopped listening after the first one. When they said without merit, I guarantee you, Mighty Oba, Radman, and Elwyn, and all of y'all, and everybody else, Yo Jonda's eye went up. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
And I tell you what, AD, I want to kind of take a little side road here, if it's okay, for just a second, and talk about the Houston Texans hiring process of Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith stood alone on his capabilities and what he's done in the NFL. And yeah, I'm a little prejudiced toward Lovie Smith because he grew up 15 miles from me in Big Sandy, Texas. I remember watching Lovie play high school football playoff games, and they won 3 state championships in a row. But as everybody knows, and you three guys especially, Lovie only came in the last minute. They were, I think, probably about to finalize a deal to hire Josh McCown. And I like Josh McCown, great guy, but no NFL coaching experience whatsoever. And then suddenly at the last 9th hour, here we go, Lovie's in the mix, boom, he's hired. I can't help but wonder, was it a matter of the egg on their face from the Brian Flores situation? If there wasn't pressure on the Texans saying, you better hire Lovie Smith or Brian Flores, one of the two. And I don't think that's fair to Lovie Smith or Brian Flores, either one, or as far as that's concerned, Josh McCown either. So I just wanted to throw that in.
No, I think it's a valid point. I mean, George, Radman, because y'all, your offensive coordinator, Brian Dober, he got the job with the Giants. Is that
yeah,
way?
With the Giants? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So I mean, let's face it. George had almost had a personal crusade on Brian Dober. All this past season, even though that the Buffalo Bills have had a successful season. I mean, Radman was, you was almost like walking death, because I know you eviscerated this guy on several occasions, George.
Oh, all the time. And he moves over. Brian Daboll moves over to the New York Giants. Obviously, that was a done deal. They had that all in the works. When Joe Shane left the Bills and became the general manager of the New York Giants, obviously he might already deal when he moved over. Say, hey, if I got the job, I want you as my coach. He could have called and told him on the phone before the interviews even started. That's what I think happened. He said, hey, we're gonna move you over here. Start looking around at players and see who you want to bring over with you. Those type of things happen. But I think the problem is you have so much wrongdoing, not only with the Texans, but teams all over the. You had a guy in the Houston Texans that was, I believe he was associate general manager or something over there with the Texans. He ended up getting rid of the majority of the black people with authority there at the Houston Texans. And then next thing you know, he over here working in the Buffalo organization. He left Buffalo, went to Houston, then they brought him back after he did the damage down there. So it's across the league. There's so much going on. We could talk a whole day just about the wrongdoings of the National Football League internally with the owners in the front office, and it's always been there. Now the microscope is on it, and I think Elwyn, you're absolutely right. They had to make a decision. They had to make a change. They had to make a change and say, hey, look, we can't allow Josh McCown to become the head coach over here. This guy just got through playing. Didn't coach in high school, college, didn't coach anywhere. He just played. He was a player. He didn't coach nowhere. How you gonna go? No. We can't. And now Brian Flores then blew the whole thing up with his allegations of what went on in Miami, and then after Miami, the hiring process too. Oh man, it's on fire. They're trying to put the fire out. That's what's going on right now. It's damage control.
Yep.
Mighty L, but here's the thing. Why? I mean, and think about it. Jim Caldwell had to put out a statement that that initially he had to put out a statement that I am entertaining offers. Because somebody floated that rumor he was turning down interviews, and Jim Caldwell had to issue a statement. No, I'm not turning down interviews. I'm not turning down teams. So there's some hands behind the scenes here that's manipulating and all of this. And I'm gonna tell you something. The NFL is the golden goose right now. But you know what? That goose, they can kill their own self real quick if they continue with this mess. I mean, because you only can be as prosperous so long, and then finally you're gonna start to internalize. I mean, it's gonna be a cancer that's gonna eat you from the inside out. What do you think about Mighty Oba?
I agree. Jim Caldwell was allegedly one of the finalists for the Chicago Bears, and prior to the end of the season, before they hired Bill Polian, who is one of our former Buffalo Bills chief orchestrators of cronyism in the league also, when he was appointed to do the search, it seemed that Leslie Frazier was a lead candidate for that job. And because there was a rumor going around that he was going to take Ken Dorsey with him, who's the quarterback coach with the Buffalo Bills. And as you know, Leslie Frazier's had a top 5 defense 5 straight years, number 1 this year. And Rob Parker made a very good point yesterday when the Radman was interviewing him. He said that, you know what? He might have been the lead candidate prior to the Kansas City game because that one play or that defense he called in overtime, not saying it was fair, but that's the way it's been for black candidates. They use things like that to eliminate you out of the pool rather than your whole body of work.
I'm glad you go ahead, finish your point, because I want to come back to that issue that you just raised, because I called George right after that game and said, who called that play? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And ultimately, we all know how the NFL works in critical situations, red zone. The head coach has the right to change any play during those periods of the game. They all practice that. And if Leslie Frazier called that defense, which I don't think he did, McDermott could have overruled it anyway. And McDermott could have, they've had a shakeup with the special teams. McDermott could have overruled kicking the ball out of the end zone. So ultimately, a Bills team that's lost all of their close games. I think it was 6 or 7 close games this year, George.
Six.
Ultimately, it's McDermott. And, I was the first interview with him right after that game. And he could barely talk. And he's got to look within himself because he is in charge. Red zone, critical points of the game, penalties, that's all head coach stuff. That's why they have the fancy headset that they can flip over and say, no, we're not going to do that. And I always tell people, if you want to see the best example of that, go back and watch Super Bowl 25. Bill Parcells coaching his behind off. The one game in Marv Levy's career, he did not wear a headset, was Super Bowl 25. You had a more talented team. You lost that game by 2 points. Wide right. It's now history. But McDermott was in control of that game. But getting back to the point, Leslie Frazier was eliminated from a talent pool. You just ignored his body of work. You know, the body of work is 5 years with a top 5 defense, and he has not had the talent. He didn't have a guy with more than 5 sacks this year. No. Yet they had the number 1 defense. And look at the play of Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver loves Leslie Frazier. We've seen players from the opposite team that he coached go over to the locker room with their uniforms on. That was Adrian Peterson. Just to shake his hand. This guy's beloved. And his record, his body of work is incredible. But he can't get a second shot.
Yeah, well, and go ahead, George.
Yeah, and for Bill Polian to be the main man, and we found out later from Mr. John Wooten that Ryan Poles was hired. Ryan Poles talked to Andy Reid. He's been with the Kansas City Chiefs front office for 12 years. He contacted Andy Reid and said, hey, I'm going to definitely have an interview with Eric Bieniemy, hopefully in the next couple of days. He's definitely going to be interviewed before we make a decision. And the very next day, they announced Matt Eberflus is the new head coach coming out of Indianapolis, a defensive guy that, come on, he's all right, but come on, there's no way in the world Eric Bieniemy or Leslie Frazier, they should have, either one of them should have had that job, especially Eric Bieniemy. With the general manager, with Ryan Poles coming from Kansas City, it's almost a no-brainer that he's going to bring his guy. Just like Joe Shane, who left Buffalo and went to the Giants, brought his guy over from Buffalo. But when it comes to black candidates, we can't do that.
You know, guys,
we can't have power.
You know, the thing about it, and I'm going to go back to the Eric Bieniemy case. For the longest, they said Eric Bieniemy wasn't calling the plays. This year, and I know, and when the camera, I mean, the TV would be focusing on the play calling. You watching Pat Mahomes putting his hands to his helmet. The camera would flash over. It was Eric Bieniemy pushing the button, calling the plays. You know, and Mighty Obi, you're right. Andy Reid can sit there and veto any play he called, but preponderance of those plays that were gotten called, and that was Eric Bieniemy. I mean, all the good time. I mean, and let's face it. I mean, and I'm pretty sure that and Andy Reid admitted to that play that I thought that cost the Kansas City Chiefs that game was that last 10 seconds right before the half.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, to me, that was the game right there.
Right there.
And let's face it, you know, and I'm hoping, and I'm seriously hoping that Pat Mahomes with all his talent, hey man, go back to some basics. I think because he's gotten away with, he's such a talented young man. I think it's some of his basics and got away from him because he's been so successful with the talent. And I think he needs to go back to quarterback one-on-one footwork. You know, his basic, you know, because I've seen Mahomes look like Isaac Smith now sometime in deep going out of shortstop, throwing some of those passes, man. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, we all applaud it. I mean, let's face it, every one of us, we applaud it. I mean, but from and sometimes you have to improvise, and we love the improvisation. You know, I said that to Wilson. I mean, in Seattle, you know how that his improvisation. Russell Wilson, his improvisation after they played the Texans. You know, that's one thing that's unique about how he can improvise on the go, and we like that. All that, you know. Heck, Brady improvises. All of them, they do it in their own little subtle ways. But you know, there's a flair about what some of the guys that they do it. But you know, whatever the case may be. I think we lost.
Yeah, we lost him. I tell you what, AD. Along that, talking about Patrick, I think also besides the football 101, he's trying to put the weight of that whole team on his shoulders and feels like he's got to bring them through. And I think that really is more than he needs to take on with the talent they got on that team.
Well, you know what? I agree. I mean, guys. I mean, is that a team that more talented than the Kansas City Chiefs from an offensive perspective? I mean, in your opinion, Radman, Mighty Open?
No.
I mean, they're a lethal weapon. How many lethal weapons do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, or Fast and Furious?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what they are. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs are, man. And so, you know, for them, I mean, hey guys, you know what? I think you got to go back. I think you got to put some discipline back in there. Yeah, I mean, you just not gonna roll your helmet out there. Huh?
There you go.
Yeah.
Reboot.
Yeah. Yep. So, but you just not gonna do it. But anyway, hey guys, we and like I told you, I'm not gonna belabor this. I think we done kicked this around enough. Big game tomorrow. Taking it from the top, Mighty Oba. Who do you have and why?
Taking Cincinnati. I like Joe Burrow. I just like the way they come back. They got some questions from that Tennessee game that's a little worrisome now. Anytime you allow 9 sacks, it's scary. But I like the adjustments that they made against Kansas City, and their ability to come back from 21-3 was pretty impressive. And I think LA has the much more talented team, but I like this kid, Joe Burrow. I think he did some things last week that were impressive, and I'm going to go with the underdog, and I'm taking Cincinnati.
Okay. Elwyn.
Well, mine is split 50-50 between my heart and the reality of things. I agree.
Hold on. So people will question you if you have a heart. I'm sorry.
I love it, man.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I agree with Oba. Definitely the Rams have the most talent. Now, I'm going with my heart and going with the Rams for one big reason. Not the fact that they're the more talented team, but I felt so sorry for Texan Matthew Stafford all those years. He was drowning in Detroit with not a whole lot of talent there. And I said all along, if he ever gets on a team that's got offensive talent, he can take a team to a Super Bowl. He's done it. So I'm going half with the talent, the fact that the Rams have the most talent, half because my heart wants to see that poor guy finally be rewarded for what he's done in the NFL all these years. I'm going with the Rams by 3.
Rams by 3. George, Radman.
I'm taking the points 4.5. Cincinnati 4.5. The points. The Rams will win. No, I think the Rams will just barely eke it out because they're just a little bit. They're so talented. They're at home. And being at home makes a big difference too. I think the Rams will barely win this, but if you want to win money, take the Cincinnati in the 4.5 points.
I'm going with the Bengals, 31-29. I'm sort of like you, Mighty Oba. It's something about this team. I mean, and I'm really, this is not a disrespecting thing that I'm going toward the Los Angeles Rams. I think that, talent wise, and you're right, 9 sacks. I mean, I'm sitting there. It's nowhere in the world that you were supposed to still be the winner and you gave up 9 sacks. Let's face it. I mean, hey guys, in any of y'all tenure covering the National Football League, maybe in high school, maybe in junior high school, you put 9 sacks up and you don't get a win. But in this league, when you get 9 sacks, that's almost like putting another touchdown up on the board to get that many sacks. And the fact that he gave up 9 sacks, and that's all, and they still come out of Tennessee with that victory, guys. I got to applaud them. And are they the team of destiny? I'm not gonna go there. I mean, that would be nice, all melodramatic to say, oh yeah, they're the team of destiny. No, I mean that's this year. That's just the way the NFL. Because for all our hyperbole and everything we talking about, I guarantee you, we'll be back here this time next year if the Lord willing to see, we all back there in Glendale, if it's in Glendale, and we'll be sitting there and everybody who we thinking should be the teams. It could, this thing turns. Because the injury bug among anything else makes this whole NFL turn. And with the salary cap and with everything people have and teams that don't know how to adjust with the salary cap, I think that in itself, you got to have a man that understands the salary cap. I'm not saying analytics. I'm still an old guy, the football guy, George, and I still like to go through this. Go ahead.
But AD, take analytics out the window. If you play defense for the Tennessee Titans and you came off the field with 9 sacks, you in the locker room getting changed, ready to take a shower or whatever after the game, are you looking funny and cross-eyed over there at that quarterback, Ryan Tannehill? Are you looking kind of cross-eyed at him
I,
after that game?
I'm not looking because I'm over there. I'm over there in his face looking at him.
Yeah, man. Somebody got to pull me off of him, man. That guy, man, how you gonna go out there and act like that, man? Come on.
Well,
you're a pro quarterback.
I think
you can't turn the ball over.
I think Mike Vrabel. I think personally, and I think I might have mentioned. I thought the fact that you brought your horse back. I thought they tried to rely on him too much. Yeah. I thought they should have let the other running back and just let him go on in there and Foreman. Yeah, thanks, Pat. I thought Foreman should have got a lot more carries, guy. I really do.
But that's
where analytics don't work with stuff like that. That's just football. I don't like analytics at all. Football's football. You gotta see. You gotta use your eyeballs and see. If I see Tannehill having a bad game, I'm putting the ball in Foreman's hand or whoever my running back is. Most of the game, I say, "Oh hell no, I'm not gonna let this dude lose this." But we get 9 sacks. We killing them on the defensive side. There's no way in the hell I'm gonna let Tannehill cost me the game.
Well,
that's coaching. Very cool.
AD, along that same line, how many games have all four of us watched through the years and sat there? And I know, AD, you and I have done it in Houston many times. I've done it in Dallas many times, and go, how in the world can the offensive coordinator be that stupid to not call a play that's working and call over and over and over during the game plays that haven't worked the whole game? It happens all the time in almost every single NFL game.
Well, let me put it like this. I remember vividly Buddy Ryan looked down there and at a certain offensive coordinator. Buddy not only looked down there, Buddy went down there. And
yep.
So I'm gonna take that's how serious this game. Buddy wasn't just looking down there. Buddy walked down there, and Buddy had a conversation, and Buddy wasn't talking. Buddy was using it. Buddy was using these bones here to trying to go upside Kevin Gilbride's head, man. So we understand. Hey guys, I promise you I won't keep you long. I got sidetracked. I was watching this young lady over here in the swimming pool on top of this building over here. But anyway.
You got nice view. Nice view, man.
Hey man, this is La La Land. This is the city of the angels, boy. I'm going like the view is nice. But anyway.
God's beautiful creations.
Yes, it is. Gentlemen, Elwyn Henderson, George Radman, and Pat Dr. Mighty Ober. Guys, I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, we had it out. I hope we all have a safe trip. We have a safe trip going back. Y'all going back to Western New York. Elvin going to East Texas. I'm coming back to the Gulf Coast. We all have a blessed trip coming back. I appreciate you guys. And getting ready, as I drop you. Hey guys, thank you again. Okay. Appreciate
it. AD. Guys, enjoy it.
Thank you.
All right.
Enjoy.
Guys. All right, Elvin. Hey, folks, as I bring this to a close, we'll see about what the post game going when the post game. Just watch out for the announcements, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. At what time. It might be a late show tomorrow, but we'll come back and do a post game, trying to figure out Mighty Ober. Were we right, George? Was it 3 of us right and 1 of us wrong, or whatever the case might be? I just hope it can live up to the billing that starting from the wild card weekend that the NFL has had. Can this game live up to the hype and the billing? And if so, then so be it. So without further ado, this is your man, Adolphus AD Moore, wishing y'all. If you have not gotten if you still, some of you folks still out there, COVID is still around. Don't be stupid. Go out there, be careful. It'll still kill you. If you have not gotten your shots or your booster, go ahead and think about doing it. If not for you, but protect somebody else, protect your loved one. So without further ado, this is your man, Adolphus AD Moore, wishing you peace. Ciao, and I'm out of here. And I appreciate it. And hey, we'll see you around down the road.